Hello everybody, how's it going today? Today is March the 20th. It's Tuesday, about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's talk about Litecoin. I'm gonna enable live chat, I keep forgetting to. My apologies. Have you guys noticed that I'm like the talk of Twitter every single day? It's really weird how so many people have the time to check out other people's work and criticize it. Like it's been kind of a frustrating few days, I have to admit, because every time, okay, we have to understand one thing, why I'm hated by a lot of the people with a lot of followers, right? These people are mainly trying to sell content, right? This is my perspective, at least. If you guys have noticed, I don't really, hey, how's it going, guys? Hello. If you guys have noticed, I don't really talk shit on Twitter. The only thing that I do is reply to negative comments with one-line statements, right? Like if someone says something that's very rude, I'll reply back with one statement and that's it, right? But I don't go around tagging people on Twitter and actually put them down, you know, or start drama, right? It's just not in my character. But if you guys have noticed, like a bunch of people, they love to call me out. And what I've noticed, yeah, I am the master of shit talking. That's true, Michael, but only towards the people that have said something really rude towards me, right? I make literally one-line statements and I'll say something, you know, very rude back, and that's it. And then I block them, I move on. But in terms of some people, wow, did they ever target me? And I realized that the majority of people who target me are bigger players in the game that have a large following, like 50, 100,000 followers. And what I've noticed is that they love to, yeah, you're right, Santosh G. I probably shouldn't even comment, and that's why I'm not going to really say a lot of negative things anymore. But what I'm noticing is that a lot of people try to sell content, right? They'll sell something for like $1,500, $2,000 packages that's targeting newer traders in the market. And that's where a lot of their income comes from, I would imagine, right? But because of people like me that are entering the game, I've only been in the crypto space for about 3 years, but I've only been doing Twitter and YouTube actually since only November about, right? So I've gained a massive following. And the reason why I'm growing exponentially is simply because of what I'm offering. First of all, it's free, it's unbiased, it's towards high market cap coins, right? And I find that a lot of these older gangsters, whatever you call them, they like to accumulate and then they tweet about it, targeting newer traders, right? And then once they've accumulated, they use their followers to pump a coin, or they use their followers to buy, to sell them packages, right? And because I'm offering everything free, because I'm not charging anything, because I've got things like this, right, that people charge literally thousands of dollars for, guys. Let me show you. Like these stuff that I have for my tutorials, people literally charge thousands of dollars for these tutorials that I have. It's mind-blowing how much people sell these things for, right? And a lot of these older traders, that's what they focus on. They sell you a package for X amount, then they have like a few amount of webinars a week, right? And it's so obvious to me that the hatred towards me is targeted because I'm stealing so much of their business away. I mean, I don't know if you guys pay for any content, right? Some people charge to sell signals. Some people charge for basically this exact material right here that I have for free. So in a way, the hatred towards me, it's targeted and it's valid from their perspective, right? They're trying to create a lot of FUD, trying to ruin my reputation, trying to smear my image because I'm taking so much money away from them. So these bigger players, they kind of gang up on me. And not once have I even tweeted like, yeah, sure, for day trader Nick when he got hacked and I man up, I said to him, it's your fault for getting hacked, right? I apologized to him publicly. I sent him $1,000 as a donation because he got hacked. Moving on. I was very immature in the crypto space back then with literally 1,000 followers, not even. But since then, like, I don't really talk crap towards people or start drama. And it blows me away how some people, they spend a lot of their time actually talking about me. They spend literally, you know, up to like hours a day tweeting about me and replying to comments. It's like, I don't even have time to check one of my really good friends' tweets. Eric Cho, him and I are really good friends. I don't even check his tweets at all. I don't even check anyone's tweets. You know, I don't have time for that. I'm here to help you guys make content. I'm not here to chase money. If I wanted to really chase money, let's do the math, guys, okay? Let's do the math together. I've got 150,000 followers total. If I had 1% of the people and I charged them $100 a year to even have a Telegram channel, I would be making $150,000 a year just from Telegram. If I wanted to charge people $50 a month and 1,500 people, right? 1,500 people, and I promised them 4 webinars a week. I think a lot of people would pay $50 a month for 4 webinars a week of lessons, right? That's 75K. If I wanted to charge people, say 100 people, $1,000 a month so they can approach me anytime, right? Just 100 people so I could financially advise, I could make $100,000 a month. So I don't even care about the money. I do literally all of this for free. And it's mind-blowing how some people spend so much of their time and energy, you know, just to target me because they, I don't know, because I'm taking so much business from them. So I just want to clear that up, that whatever you guys hear about me, my material is literally proof in the pudding that, well, I'm not 100%. I tweet my losses all the time now, right? I don't bother trying to maintain that perfect image whatsoever. If I lose, I lose. I provide both scenarios of both bear and bull. So in a way, it kind of upsets me, like, you know, it kind of butthurts me that so many people are targeting me. And lately my mood has been like trying really hard to avoid it. You know, I've got an awesome support group, like my friends online, and they're like, you know what, it's not even worth your time. But when it gets to the point where it's like, oh man, so many people are targeting me, it's really hard to ignore. Like, you know, you can't really just ignore it because you've got a flood of hatred towards me, right? So when you have like 150,000 followers, yeah, like 99% of them are so supporting and encouraged, which I love you guys for. But then the 1% sometimes when there's hatred, it can echo so loud that it actually overshadows all the positivity. So because I'm new to this, I'm still trying to learn how to filter this out. Like if I didn't have really good friends like, you know, Eric, like Val, like my awesome friend Mel in Thailand, like Johnny, like Leon, like Crypto Chad, right? Like Eric as well. Yeah, I'd be like a disaster online. So I just want to give you guys an example, right? And we're going to talk about Bitcoin first of all, okay? So let's get into the technical analysis, guys. Yeah, let's go to my blog here. So I present both scenarios all the time, right? Like I talk about bull and bear scenarios. So you guys have to be extra cautious all the time. I like to incorporate psychology into my trading, and that's what I like to teach people as well. That we have to be very careful, right? There's always a bull scenario. For example, Bitcoin breaking above 87.14, that could signal a rally. And then if it broke below these particular ranges, it can signal a short sell. So, you know, we have to make sure we retain both scenarios always. So Litecoin right now is almost back up to $10 billion. We're now at 9.4 billion, which is a really good sign. We were trending a little bit below 9 billion a few days ago, up 7%. Every coin right now is almost in double digits except for the bigger players, right? So that's looking really good. I was worried about Litecoin's volume actually. Hopefully we end up picking up a little bit more. We see that we're downtrending in volume despite the uptrend, right? So not a lot of money is actually being poured into the market, but it does confirm a steady incline that can happen over the next few days. We've actually jumped up from 332 billion to 342 billion. That's $10 billion of money that's been put into the market in the past 5 hours, which is a very positive sign as well. So we're gonna go over kind of from not the whole beginning, but just to this structure here so we can know what Elliot wave is. So Elliot wave count is basically something like this up here. 5 beautiful waves up. Now we're looking for an ABC structure that could possibly be this one right here. And the way that I'm seeing this right now is definitely done the ABC correction where we're now attempting an impulse wave up. This one there, and we get 5 waves coming down. Zooming in, we see 5 beautiful waves as well, and we use the wave 1 territory here as a hard resistance. And the reason we use that is because wave 4 does not overlap into the wave 1 territory by more than a wick. So this area right here actually signaled a very nice short sell. That's when Bitcoin was around 8,600, and then it just ended up downtrending for the next few days there. So this was a very good opportunity to buy, guys. And I was actually talking about the 786 Fibonacci level, which seems to be the flavor of the month, okay? 786 Fibonacci level. Whenever we break past a key fib level, we always want to consider the next possible region, right? Which was right around here. So if we take this previous structure, actually it extends really far back, guys, okay? It was very obvious that it was going to bounce there, in my opinion, because it coincided with Bitcoin correcting right around there as well. So right now, awesome area, guys. So make sure you're always trying to long into these positions here. Remember that without risk, there's literally no possibility of reward whatsoever. So without the possibility of reward, well, you got to take these chances, guys, right? You take these chances at these key regions and you go long on it with a very tight stop loss. So if you guys are still holding Litecoin from $137, that was amazing. So a good way to have played it, so you guys know how to play it in the future, is you simply just take the next swing high level, right? Which was right around here, and we're about to get there right now. So let's talk about some key resistances and supports. If we guys notice right here, this is a monster zone, okay? This whole area right here is a monster zone of resistance right now. So what usually acted as a resistance or support before, on the uptrend, it'll actually be considered a resistance, right? So these areas right over here, lots of trouble breaking it. And so it's no doubt in my mind that right now, this area is having a lot of struggle, right? Right around the 170 mark is a region that we have had a lot of trouble breaking before. So that's very important to make note of. If we go to a 1 hour chart and in a little bit more detail, the Elliot wave is as clear as day for this particular one right here, where we end up getting a first wave, a second wave, possibly a third wave here, and this is the fifth wave that ended up going up, and that's the fourth down there. So this one we trace a lot more to roughly this golden ratio. So this one, by the rules of indifference of Elliot wave, it would actually retrace a lot less. This one got to about the 236 level. Now these are very bullish right now. Okay, we're in a very short-term bullish trend, I would say. We didn't even retrace close to the 236 level, or sorry, the 382 level. We went actually close to it, but more so the 236 level. And that right there is more so. Hi Luna, how are you? Luna, you want to be on the show? You want to say hi to everybody? Oh, oh! Yeah, that's right. That's a good girl. You want to say hi one more time, little girl? Oh, oh! Last time you're going to say hi, okay? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you know how to do it on 3 now. That's a good girl. Last time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Last time, Luna. 3, 2, 1. There you go. We've actually been teaching her for a very long time now. She's doing very good. So anyways, let's get into this, guys. 170 is now established as a very clear resistance area, right? We only trended to roughly 382, but not really. And that happens, 382 retraces roughly, statistically, about 12% to 15% of the time. The 236 level retraces about 8% of the time. So the further down we go, right, the more likely we are to get a bounce. This is a golden ratio area. It happens to be a very strong market sentiment to buy over there. But because it's such a bullish market, we actually did not retrace down whatsoever. So we can easily assume that this is a fairly bullish market. Now this right here can be seen as many different structures. This could be seen as perhaps an A, a B, a C, a D, and an E, where we get some sort of like a wedge pattern in this particular triangle pattern, right? Where it made its series of 333s. So this is like a symmetric triangle. So the way that you guys should have played this Litecoin right now is on the break. It was clearly trending upwards for a while, right? But symmetric triangles, you never know how they're gonna break, right? So these could have been mistaken for a bunch of different Elliot waves as well. For example, it could have been something like that, right? It could have been something like that, and it could have simply just downtrended, where this right here was making a series of small waves coming down. So you need to be very clear of how you see Elliott wave. There are many different alternate paths. So it could have very well broken down, but instead it made an A, B, C, D, E type formation and it broke out. So the way that I would recommend people to play this in the future is, draw your triangle if it's about to form, okay? Draw your symmetric triangle. The moment that it breaks out of this right here, this is a clear sloped trend line support, right? This is a clear trend line support. If it breaks out of it, you simply buy on strength, right? Breaks out, volume is starting to pick up right there. Let's say you went to a lower time frame. Let's say I drew it a little bit better as well here for you guys, okay? Volume is showing much more increasing. Like this candle right there, guys, honestly, it would have been the confirmation candle because here you get like a bullish inverted hammer. These bullish inverted hammers imply that the market wants to be driven upwards, especially with the series of bounces that we're getting over here, right? So since the morning, we were bouncing above the 55 EMA there, and that should have signaled a very decent uptrend. So the way you should have played this was you would have entered upon the bounces on the 55 EMA, set your stop loss slightly below where the triangle is, depending on how you see it, and then you would have targeted right around this range, 170, which was the resistance. And you could have got yourself a very, very easy 5% gain there for short-term day traders. So anyways, if we do an Elliott wave count, right? Let's just say that this is an actual count right now. I'll go to a 10-minute time frame. Now, there are many ways to see this, okay? Let's say that this was ABC instead. Like, this whole structure is ABC, right? So the way we could be seeing this right now is this actually a first wave only, right? Is this the first wave and there's going to be maybe a small correction or not even a correction and then we break out of it? Let's say that we actually broke out of it. Where would the next support region be? Well, the next support region is still around here, guys. This is like a cluster right now. I can't see it getting higher than about 173, maybe even to 180 at the most. So these are very dangerous territories right now to get in my opinion. So I'm not really concerned about entering any type of long position because I'm more so concerned about just staying cautious and catching a dip. Buying on strength is really good for the third and the fifth wave at the beginning, but when you're buying on strength, for example, on a sub wave, right, it's really difficult as well. So this looks like, if you look on a small time frame, it could be an ascending triangle, right? So for all the risk takers that you're playing, if this is an ascending triangle, there's no chance that it's going to break up. I mean, if we look at Elliott wave as well, if this whole structure was A, B, C, D, and E, ending right here, well, then it would make sense that the 5 waves is already completed roughly, right? Pretty much completed already, where we got like a double top. Double tops can happen if we actually get a very strong impulse wave up and the 5th wave simply fails. So for short-term trading, I don't even think it's worth anybody's time to enter a trade. Let's identify some more resistance areas. So we have to break clear above about 172.50, this range right here, okay? 172.50 needs to be broken. So the way that I'm looking to play this right now is I'm waiting for it to break above there and make a slight correction, okay? So this is what I plan to do. If it breaks above here, well above these regions, okay, I'm gonna wait for a correction, simple as that. And I will see if it bounces above this key region of 172, 173, around there. Well, specifically 170-ish, right? If it bounces above 70 when we break out, I'll be very interested in it. Now, I might accumulate 25% of my position for a swing right around the bottom here, but what I will most likely be very interested in is on the breakout, right? So a lot of my friends and I, we're breakout players. So then as soon as it breaks out of here, what we do is we buy it on strength, right? That's why if you guys look on a very small time frame, check this out, okay guys? This is gonna be a good lesson. This high right here, okay? Some people bought it on you know, around here on the breakout. So if you guys notice the volume, right? When key areas are broken, if you look at that volume, and if you look at this volume, because we're breaching the high of these candle closes, it's signal to the market, hey, let's actually buy on strength. So it goes towards the same concept of over here as well, where you might want to buy a little bit. I'm no financial advisor, but it's usually what I do. You know what, Joe? I'm gonna block you, okay? I know that you're not even a real person, Joe. I'm gonna go to your channel and just prove you're not a real person at all. like, I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm talking about, okay? These are people that come into my channel, right? And they watch my video and they purposely try to promote FUD because they're the people FUDding. And you know how you know? You simply just go to their page on YouTube, okay? You simply just go to their page on YouTube and you can just tell, probably without even guessing, that they have 0 subscribers, they have 0 content. So these are the people that are intentionally causing the FUD to try to promote it. It's not that they're pointing out a fact, it's that they're purposely FUDding on purpose. So I just block these people. So this is the kind of stuff that I have to deal with all the time, just so you guys know, right? They're basically just a bunch of trash talkers. So anyways, I just thought I'd do that. Not worth my time, guys. Not worth my time whatsoever. You know what? I'm gonna keep providing free content. I promise to be well over 100K in terms of, you know, followers on YouTube and on Twitter as well. And the only thing that they're gonna have to do is just live with the fact that I'm out helping people in the public. And that's really okay. It doesn't really bother me whatsoever. If you make over 5 million this year, are you kissing McAfee? You know what? 5 million? I'm not really here to chase money. If I wanted to chase money, guys, I'd be trading like $100,000, $250,000 positions like I used to a few years ago. I'd also be charging you guys for content instead of keeping everything for free, right? I would also be promoting myself in a very monetized way. I would have classrooms, I would have etc. So if money was actually my goal, trust me guys, with my knowledge, with my personality, with the way, you know, I have an audience, I'd be making way more money. But life is not about money, guys. Like, honestly, you can only do so much with money. You know what I mean? Like, you can only do so much with money. I'm 33 years old. I have a condo. I have no debt whatsoever. I'm not here to chase money. What the fuck can I do with it? It's like you can only buy so much. You can only, like, have so many fancy things. At the end of the day, like my good friend Mel says, right? When you're dying, the only thing you're left with is your karma and how you're remembered. Not your materialistic things. You're not going to be sitting there in your deathbed when you're sick, you know, very old or whatever. You're not going to be thinking about how much money you have. You get rich on the inside, right? You don't need, you have good friends, you surround yourself with good company, you have good morals, you help other people. That's how you're rich. So 5 million? Sure, I can reach it very easily if I wanted to. I'm not even close to there yet, to be quite honest. But if I wanted to, no problem. I can reach it within probably 2-3 years. But guys, money is a very small part of life. So I'm just adding a little bit of, you know, who I am and what kind of person I am as well. So guys, this is kind of my plan right now, right? Like we gotta respect this resistance right here. We gotta respect the 170 range that we simply can't break right now. Bitcoin is respecting the 8,000 resistance and support to go down. So because of that, like, not really interested in playing it, right? Think of the risk associated with playing very near a resistance. So if you guys actually look at this, it could be very obvious as well that this right here is actually just waves 1, 2, 3, and there's a 4th wave somewhere, and then maybe we'll try to break above it, right? Does that kind of make sense? I think that this is how it's going to play out, that the next wave is going to make a fairly decent wave upwards. It might even target like 175 or something like that, who knows? But either way, my goal is to make sure that I see a correction, right? If this is actually all 5 waves, let's just say, that forms, that makes the first impulse wave up, we have to remember the rules of Elliot wave, okay? When 5 waves go up like that, we take our Fibonacci for the first fib region. Now we take the Fibonacci for the second region only, and then all of these 5 waves, you actually target waves 1 to 5 for your fib. Because if there's 5 small subwaves in here right now, right? Let's just say there's small 5 waves in there. Well, if you're taking the fib of the entire range, what's the difference with that little structure and this structure right there, right? There's actually no difference at all. So doesn't it make more sense to, there's many ways to play it, and I'm going to give you guys all the different plays, right? The way that I'm seeing it is, you know, you could play a breakout if you want to, guys. It's your choice, right? Let's say we even removed this resistance. Who knows if we're going to get there? A lot of people might want to play the breakout if we break out above like 160, 170 range for a small gain. They might want to go play the breakout. And if you guys play that, you would just set your stop loss slightly below here, right? But it would be a very short-term play because you need to understand these resistances that are here, excuse me, that are here. if we take our fib extension from this particular wave, what we see is this one actually hit the target with flying colors, guys. It hit the target of 161.8, literally on the nose. Therefore, the next target could really well be 175, right? So that would be your risk to reward play there with 3.52. You would set your stop loss slightly below it, perhaps 168 to be safe, right? And there's your 3.76 risk to reward with the possible 3.5 gain. That's one way to play it. Now, I don't like to play wave 5. I like to play wave 3, okay? Wave 3, breakout is the most important. As soon as we break above the key resistance where wave 1 was, that is actually where you guys would want to play. You guys need to remember this, okay? I need to tell you guys the wave 3 breakout. A lot of you guys FOMO, okay? Tons of you guys FOMO because you didn't catch this breakout right here, right? This one right there. Now, this is called a breakout strategy, okay? The breakout strategy goes like this. And I'm sure that you guys have heard it before, but a lot of players, they will wait to make sure. Okay, let's say you're on a downtrend, right? You're on a downtrend like that. Okay, thank you very much, James Perry. I really appreciate that $10 donation, my man. So here, what we look for is a series of higher highs, first of all, and then a higher low. So this is a higher high than that one. This is a higher low than that one right there. So now a breakout player will wait very patiently. Now, you guys can develop whatever strategy you want. And I'm one of those players as well that would like to buy on strength. So I will wait until this break right here, guys, right there, okay? This key region right there. Once it breaks out, you buy it into strength and ride it to the 100 or 168 fib region. Now, that goes towards the exact same strategy that we see right here, a breakout strategy, where you wait until it breaks, right? It goes like this and it goes like that, and we say to ourselves, okay, well, it's not getting a higher high, but it's definitely getting a higher low. So if it breaks above it, you would want to buy into strength when there's volume. But here, for example, you wouldn't want to buy it because did it break out? No, it didn't break out. It got a rejection with very little volume, right? Right, like right here, did it break out? No, you don't want to buy that because it never broke out. Here, it broke out, right? That's why a lot of people ended up buying it. So if you notice the volume, it also coincides with the candle in the same location as well. That's why these breakouts happen. So if you guys buy right there, bam, breakout. So you guys could possibly buy on breakout if you wanted to, right? Right about here. You just got to know the target, which is about 175 based on fib. And also know that 171 is a major resistance. So you guys might not even get there. You might actually just face this resistance right here and get completely shot down. So it's very important. So there we go. We're slowly shooting out of it for Litecoin, but is it going to get rejected, right? So let's just see here together if this is actually the wave 5 going up, and we'll actually see it right during this video. Now, a great way to consider playing is to wait for all wave 5s to complete. Once all waves 5 complete, we wait for a retracement and we be very patient. And we say to ourselves, where is the next region of resistances that we had? Well, the regions of resistances were right around here, right? So we'd say to ourselves, okay, well, based on Fibonacci, if it only reaches right about here and it doesn't break, then we take the Fibonacci retracement of all of the 5 waves. And once all these 5 waves form, oh, you're welcome, Edwin Jones. This is what I do, man. I want you guys to know what I know. You know, my dad's a teacher. He's a teacher. He taught high school for like 20 years, right? It's in my blood, man, to help people out. I just want to make sure that I can pass on what I know. What is the point of hoarding all of this information if you don't help other people, right? You get to a point when you're in your life where it's like, I just want to help out other people. I'm cool with my position. It also, you know, it definitely raises my confidence and my self-esteem as well. But more importantly, not ego though. My ego is always big regardless, as you guys know already. My ego is derived from self-confidence, right? Not really an ego, more so just self-confidence, but it's really true that it's impossible to, you know, feel good about life unless you actually want to help out other people. That's why people do things like volunteer. That's why they donate, right? It's just a way of intrinsically feeling good. You know what I mean? It's like how you feel good on the inside. So that's why I do all this crap for people. Because I just want to feel good about myself, you know? As much as it is to help you guys, it's also to make me feel like a good person, because I don't want to feel like a crappy person, you know? So thank you very much for the donation, Edwin. I just want to get into a little speech about that, all right? I'm super corny, guys. I'm super corny. I'm like a super sensitive person, believe it or not, as well. And yeah, so I'm like super corny. So if you guys see here, once it's starting to break out slowly, right? Will it actually breach this major resistance right here, where there's lots of activity, support, resistance? Will it actually get there? Will it get to the 261.8 fib level? It might not even get there. It might even find resistance right here instead at 178. So to me, this is not a worthwhile risk to take because it's so little gain, right? Despite the risk to reward ratio being very awesome, it's just not worth it to me because we see a lot of hesitation already. Volume is slowly dying off. So my play is, if this were actually 5 waves going up, I would like to wait for a retracement and buy on a dip. Buying on the dip, right? So let's say we waited for a retracement and this is a very strong zone. So I usually buy about 25% of my position size at the 382, right? And then I'll slowly increase my position sizes as it gets lower and lower. This is called dollar cost averaging. This way you can actually get the best possible prices, and it's not always going to guarantee that it gets to these points. But what it does guarantee is that if it does fall there, you're going to be slowly buying your positions in a micro way. The people that buy in one specific position, one market order, one limit order, they're usually the people that get wrecked because you just cannot control the average cost of your price. You're taking a chance from one position. Think of it like that. But if you dollar cost average and you ladder your buy slowly when you believe that it's bear or bullish, it's going to give you a very nice possible price, right? So that's how I like to do by dollar cost averaging. Now let's say that you're buying, right? And then now let's say it actually never gets to the red line. The red line right here is actually never reached and you had ladder limits there. Well, that's okay. You can add more on strength once you've confirmed an uptrend, right? So let's say that none of these red lines were actually bought and you're like, okay, I'm not really sure of a breakout. I don't know if I want to get a breakout or add more on it. And let's say it retraced to only roughly here and didn't even get to the green zone. Well, our same strategy applies, guys. This could be possibly subwave 1 going up, all right? If that was subwave going up, 1 going up, the third wave is often the strongest and never the weakest. Or sorry, often the longest and never the weakest, right? This is not the actual price. I'm just giving you guys an example, right? I know there's a lot of lines here. So it's often the longest and it's never the shortest. So it can be longer than wave 1, but shorter than wave 5. It could be longer than wave 5, but shorter than wave 1. It all depends on it. But usually the wave 3 is the most impulsive wave going up. You're welcome, Edwin. I appreciate that, man. Edwin said he went long, laddering 7.6 to 7.3 BTC. Thanks, Phil, for the education. Yeah, it was a good buy, guys. If you guys are still holding Bitcoin from 7.25K, you guys are making bank right now, okay? You guys are doing incredibly well. It bounced there with precision. You guys know what's good about that 7.25 number? Okay, think of it like this. The bears that have shorted the market, they need to buy to close their position, right? So if the bulls are waiting to buy at 7.25K, right? And the bulls, the bulls are waiting to buy at 7.25, and the bears are hoping to also close their position at 7.25K because they need to buy to close their position. They're actually helping out the bulls as well, right? When you think of it like that. So that's a really important way to look at it, right? And it's kind of like when the top is near and the people are taking profit, it's actually assisting all the people that are entering a short position because the bulls have to sell and take profit, and a lot of the bears are also short selling by market executing. So it's adding strength. So do you guys know why the third wave is often the most impulsive? Think of this theory for a moment, okay? Let's think of the people that are actually going short on this wave still because they think it's going to end up going down, right? So they're going short there, right? Maybe they're adding even more to their short right here. But as soon as this breakout happens, guys, right, the bulls are kicking in and they buy into their long. And a lot of the actual bears, they say to themselves, oh my God, I cannot short the market right now. I really can't short. I've got to close my short position by buying. So when they buy, they close their short position and it adds even more strength on the uptrend. So I find that the market psychology is very important to follow, right? So that's a really big reason as well why this wave 3 is adding to strength, because a lot of the short positions will actually get liquidated. So when they liquidate their position, whether it's through margin call or whether it's adding strength onto the market, that's why wave 3 is often really strong. So that's what I want to do, guys. I want to wait until a possible correction. Simple as that. Wait for a correction, and then if it gets to higher than wherever this particular wave ends, that's where I will add more into the market. So I'm just more so talking about a general strategy. If we look at some of the candles right now, let's just do a candlestick analysis here for everybody as well. So, you know, we're looking very bullish overall, right? Very bullish overall. The volume is slowly decreasing, like I was mentioning at the bottom, beginning of the video there. It's very difficult to say. Hopefully we don't reject at the 55 or the 100 EMA. The white line is the 55 EMA. You're welcome, Gerald. Thanks for the TA. It's been what I've been trading the most. Please grab a coffee or bubble tea on me. How'd you know I love bubble tea, Gerald? How did you know I love bubble tea, Gerald? Are you being racist? Is this because I'm Asian? You think I like bubble tea because I'm Asian or something? Actually, it's true. I do love bubble tea. I love bubble tea. It's so good. What kind of Asian doesn't like bubble tea? It's like the best thing in the world. Coconut juice as well. Oh, coconut's so good. So we look at the daily chart and we see that a possible MACD crossover could happen. But remember that a MACD is a lagging indicator, right? Because it's taking moving averages, which is a sample of the previous activity. So it's taking a compilation of averages in the past, and it requires on past data to formulate the average line. So in a way, it's lagging. But if we look at the momentum of the histogram, what we see is very bullish momentum that's going upwards. So it's looking very positive overall. But keep in mind that resistance between 170 and 171. We have now officially crossed over in the past few days. Not only have we crossed over on Litecoin, but it's a very metric move up, like a staircase, right? It's not a really crappy kind of curve that looks like it's concaving, right? So this is a very good sign overall as well for Litecoin. Bitcoin is still struggling right now at the 88.50 mark. We look on the 6-hour chart and we say to ourselves, okay, this is where that resistance was. Do you guys remember I was talking about right here around the 179 region, 178? Okay, well, that's also coincidentally right around where the 100 moving average is. Always think of the moving averages as key places where it can offer resistances and supports, right? So we're seeing it right at the 55 EMA right now, just slightly hovering there. Now the MACD is looking fantastic, right? When we start to see it leveling off on a lower time frame, that's what we use as our triggers. Now these triggers, my moving average that I use is 100, 55, 21, 13, and 8. I use these on very short time frames. So we see a nice little step up in the past 4 hours, right? We see it looking like it was about to come down, then bam, it just spiked up over here, which is fantastic. We're now above the 55 EMA on a 4-hour time frame. Ideally, what you would want to happen, just to give you guys a hint, okay? What you would want to happen is this, okay? You want a rejection of some sort to the downside. In fact, that's preferred. It's preferred because it confirms that the bulls have successfully won. So let's say this was a big green candle, right? And there was a little bit of a sell-off, just as an example. This wick, it actually implies a lot of strength. It means that the bulls, the bears, have tried to sell off, right, over that period in that candle, but the bulls have actually successfully defended and pushed it back up above the EMA. So, you know, there's definitely a chance we can just completely uptrend past it, but usually a wick to the bottom side or to the upside is a rejection. Look at it when you look at the opposite, right? The opposite, where the bulls are trying to push it above the 55 EMA, but do you guys see these series of wicks right here at the 55 EMA? Well, they tried to break above the 55 EMA resistance, but the wick actually rejected it to the downside, which is a very strong indication that the bulls have tried once there. The bulls have tried twice right there, right? Valters, thank you for the question and for the generous tip there. When videos on market manipulation with larger capital, we need to be aware. I'm not sure what you're asking. When videos on market manipulation with larger capital? If you're talking about manipulation in general, like, I don't believe in manipulation in the market, first of all, okay, guys? The reason I don't believe in manipulation in the market is simply because it's not manipulation, it's strategy, guys. We have to remember that this is the fiercest competition in the world, where our ultimate goal is to literally take money from each other, right? There's only a finite amount of money in the market. Every time you win, it doesn't come from thin air. It comes from someone else's pocket. Every time you lose, it doesn't disappear, right? It goes to someone else's pocket. So you can't say that you've really won money. It's more like you've extracted money, or you moved around money in the market and you've transferred it to yourself from somewhere else. So manipulation, I don't really believe in manipulation. What I do believe in is strategy, though. Of course, people who have more capital, they can quote unquote manipulate a market better, because let's say that they wanted to create the fear of the market being driven down. Well, they want to trap people in those positions, right? You trap people in specific positions because, well, you want to take their money. So if you're trapping people and they're losing money, you have a better chance of taking their money. So manipulation to me is you know, in that sense. But if you're talking about manipulation as in mainstream media and FUD and investment banks and institutions that are trying to scare the market, that's a whole different topic of manipulation, okay, on a very grand scale, which I'm not going to get into. But we have to understand that, yes, manipulation can happen on a large degree like that with mainstream media who have a big influence. But in terms of people who are just traders and they have a lot of money, you know, whether it's leveraged walls driving it up or down, you know, it's a different kind of thing. Like, I do it myself, where I create leveraged walls, right? I don't really talk about them, but definitely back in my younger days, I would use a little bit more capital than most people to create artificial demand and supply, etc. So I can try to move a small cap coin. I mean, you can call that FUD all you want, but it's part of the game. It's really part of the game of blocking each other, trapping each other, trying to create the false illusion that a market is going to move one way or the other, right? So yeah, so I just thought I'd bring that up very quickly as well. Now what we see is it's definitely trending towards this resistance, right? We moved up a few ticks here. Now we look on a 2-hour chart, which is really nice, guys. Okay, according to the 55 EMA strategy, we want a crossover. This, you know, the golden crossover is traditionally 50 and the 200 moving average, but I more so look at the 100 and the 55 moving average because it suits my style better with Fibonacci. In a few days, right, this could very well downtrend. We never know, just a little bit. Might even break below, who knows, then pop right back up. But the point to make note of is that the 55 and the 100 golden crossover, quote unquote, could happen very soon. We want the larger moving average to be below all of the other moving averages. As soon as that happens on a larger time frame, it's going to signal to the market time to enter the trade. Kind of like right now, guys. In 23 minutes, okay, we will most likely end up getting a crossover right here. It hasn't quite happened yet, but what we're going to see most likely is that the white moving average, the 100, will be below the 55. So we say it like this, that the 8 and that the 100 is supporting the 55 is supporting the 21 is supporting the 13 is supporting the 8, which represents an overall greater degree time frame of it being in an uptrend. If we look, for example, right here, okay, let's say right here last night, actually not even, like right here, guys, okay, when it broke above, like on March 18th right here, where there's a crossover, people were most likely very interested in this crossover right there. This was like accumulation phase, and they would have set their stop loss slightly below this particular region, and they would have rode it, and they would only sell it when the white line or the yellow one is actually resisting all of it right here. So right here, guys, as we can see, there we go. There's the one more wave going upwards, okay? Just remember this right here, guys, that there's only 5 sub waves, okay? There's only 5 sub waves going up. If this was the first subwave right there, there's never 6, there's never 7, right? This could very well be the resistance that we have officially hit. So I cannot see this getting much higher than 172, 173 right now. Bitcoin is probably trending upwards. Let me just double check on Bitcoin. It's probably over 8,900, I'm guessing. That's probably one of the reasons why we're trending up. There we go. There's Bitcoin going upwards right here, okay? So that's one of the major reasons why we're uptrending. Bitcoin just made a small break. So yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin actually very quickly to see what's going on. So one more possible wave up, I mentioned in my last video, right? I'm just gonna pull it up right here for you guys to see as well, that I mentioned that specifically one more small subwave up possibility right here. I mentioned woohoo, whoops. I said woohoo, we broke above the resistance, right? One more subwave to 8,900 to 9K range is possible before a correction. I have a hard time seeing Bitcoin getting much higher than $9,000. If we also look at Bitcoin right here on a micro level, we see that, hey, there could possibly be 5 waves right now, okay? So let's just say that this was the first wave, this was the second wave, well, this is the third wave, we'll say, possibly, and there's, you know, about a 9K touch right around up there, because we also see 5 small fractals right here as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about on a small time frame. And we're also meeting a lot of resistance on Bitcoin, right? Around these ranges right about here at 9K. And depends on where you take your Fibonacci from, but if you were to take your Fib from just the C structure coming down on Bitcoin, we see that it's getting right into the golden zone, right around the 618 Fib level. If we take it from the overall structure of where it actually downtrended, we also see it hitting right here around the 9K 382 Fib level as well. So depending on where you take it from, right, we're hitting a very key resistance zone right now. But the thing to make note of about Bitcoin is we're actually trending above the 55 EMA. And because we're trending above the 55 EMA, it's looking pretty good. So I can't see it, guys, getting above 9K right now, right? This is a pretty bullish candle in general, but because of Elliot wave, it's almost confirming a final count. And here's Litecoin probably at 170. There you go. There's that 171 right here as well. That's awesome, right? So please make note of this massive resistance area, guys. We need to break it with a lot of conviction. Usually what ends up happening is we get to our target resistance, right? We get to our target resistance and then the market takes profit there. And when they take profit, right, we end up correcting whatever amount, okay? We end up correcting whatever amount. Let's say we correct to where a possible range of where the previous resistance was, because the previous resistance will now act as a very hard support. So that's very important to remember as well. So let's say right now for Litecoin that it does not break here. I have a hard time seeing it break, to be quite honest. Okay, it's going to take a lot of conviction to break well above it, in my opinion. I mean, a very possible case is that we get this massive fifth wave going upwards, right? We get a huge fifth, just as an example, a big fifth wave, and then we correct to above this key area right here. So if we correct to right there, perfect. What was previously a hard resistance will now act as a support. So like I mentioned earlier, right, if we get to be, you know, whatever well above it, we can end up taking a retracement, a very bullish retracement, because we just broke out of it. And heck, it could be a 382 retracement. So if it gets to like the 180 region, I'll be very surprised, okay? So that's one possible scenario. I'll be very surprised and I'll wait for a correction, right? I'll wait for a correction and then I'll wait for the breakout as well. I'll probably end up buying a small amount, 25% of my position, maybe like 20K or something, and then I'll add like a few more 20K. And then right here, as soon as it breaks out, you buy at this specific point right there. So that's one possible scenario. Now another possible scenario that's much more likely in my opinion, I can't see Bitcoin getting much higher, to be very clear, okay? So this is a very hard resistance, let's say around 179. And this is an even harder resistance right now. That is it likely for us to break it the first time? Not really. So what could very well happen, in my opinion, is one of the two scenarios. If this was the scenario right here where this is forming a first subwave, well, hurrah, we actually got to the resistance. That's fantastic. Now, it might even signal to a lot of people to take profit there. If they do, we just wait for a correction, right? We make note of where the previous support region was, which is right around here, the breakout around above 162-ish, okay? And then we just start laddering our buys, like I mentioned, right? Start laddering our buys like that. Now, if this corrects, right, a very bullish pattern that it could make is, heck, maybe it would make something super bullish, like an A, B, C, D, E. And I know you guys know this pattern. This pattern right here is an ascending triangle, right? That's a very bullish pattern if it ends up making something like that, where it just keeps pounding at the resistance until we break it. Now, another likely possibility is, of course, just an A, B, C, D, E, right? an ABCDE to whatever defined amount here, at least above this region right here. If it did that, great, right? Then we end up laddering our buys as well. That would make a normal zigzag. Of course, it could make some sort of ABCDE. It could make as well like a flag pattern as well. Who knows, right? You guys are all familiar with flags, I'm sure. Something like that. Then upon the flagpole break, right where this region is right here, right? That's where you would end up going long on it. Or you can go long on it when it breaks the resistance as well. Or you can ladder your buys. Either way, guys, we need to accept the fact and respect the fact that Bitcoin is very bullish right now, right? And so is Litecoin in general. So it's just a matter of planning these possible plays. So you guys ask yourself, was it worth it to play this breakout to basically hit this resistance for a quick $2 gain? No, not really, right? Is it more, we play the game of probability, right? Where would it offer less risk for a higher reward? Right? So we just try to play the game of probability and look for the best possible entries and exits. And to me, this is a much better probability of it bouncing off of this resistance right here. Well, it's a hard resistance because of someone asked, how do you know? Well, there's a lot of activity here, right? This was a support, this was a support, this was a resistance. So naturally, this is going to be a major resistance as well. And I also talked about it being the 382 fib level. Oh, no worries, Joe. Thank you very much. I appreciate that donation, man. So, and it was also the 382 Fibonacci level, according to just the B wave or C wave. It was also a 618 fib level of the C wave. It was also a 382 fib level of the whole ABC wave as well. And as you guys can see very clearly right now, that I bet you anything, Bitcoin's rejecting 89.50, right? There you go. It's rejecting it slightly. It's finding hesitation right now. Now Litecoin's rejecting 171 as well. So do you guys see how, let's look at a very small time frame. I know it's not cool to look on a time frame like that, but you guys can see it rejecting already. It rejected by over like $1.50. Lots of hesitation. People are definitely taking some profit, right? Big candle to try to push it up above there, but now the volume is just simply dying off. And because the volume's dying off, I will easily assume that Bitcoin is, people are taking profit on it as well on a micro level. There we go. They're definitely taking profit on here. It ticked down from 89.56 to 89.30 already. So that to me is a fairly good rejection at the resistance. So if Bitcoin is hitting a resistance and it's going to go down, there's absolutely no way that these coins during an impulse rally will completely outperform Bitcoin. So I think I've gone over pretty much every single play that we can make, right guys? Yeah. So there we go. We're rejecting by over $2 already on Litecoin. So I'm glad that you guys didn't try to play this breakout because it's simply not worth it for hitting a hard resistance there at the top. Like I mentioned, we can easily break out of it and hopefully go to like 175 to 180 range. And then we have to bounce off of 171 for the correction, right? But a more likely case, once again, is for us to consider this as 5 waves, take our Fibonacci, right? Take our fib range. Like this is more likely the 5 waves right here. Like we'll just say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5 wave right there, right? That seems to make a lot of sense. It also seems to make a lot of sense to take this wave structure, use this as a very hard support, use some reasonable fib levels, right? As a hard support region to ladder our buys, and then correct down there, maybe add some to our position. And then after that, what you want to do is maybe even add more to your position on the breakout. So the way that I'm looking at this whole structure right now, guys, to be very honest and clear, is like this, okay? I see this right here as not my wave 3, all right? I see this right here. Ah, geez, it's actually making, I didn't even realize this until now. Like, is this actually making some sort of diagonal like this? Right? Like, is that a leading first wave diagonal? I have no idea. It's very difficult to tell right now because I count all 5 waves in already, which is 1, 2. Maybe it'll make a channel later or something like that. But the way that I'm seeing this right now is based on extrapolation. If this ends up continuing its uptrend, I see Litecoin possibly hitting well over 180, okay? I see it hitting over 180. And the way that I'm seeing this in particular, from my perspective, is this is subwave 1. That's a bullish subwave 2. And just based on here already, I'm going to go even higher. right? I'm going to go even higher, and this is a likely case where we bounce off the 100, and maybe this subwave 5 over here will actually go even to 223, one of these regions. Thank you very much, Tyrant. I really appreciate that. So if this were the case right here, well, okay, this is not likely, actually, okay? Well, it depends on how we see it, right? If we saw it like this right now, this would be the subwave 1, 2, this would be 3, and a 4, and probably a 5 touch to the 100 region, and then we end up correcting, you know, slightly above the 171 range, for example. That's where the third subwave ends, and then this one hits a region of 197-ish. So if we saw this right here as one subwave, which I don't have a lot of time to count it, that could be a likely case, right? If that's not the possible count, then perhaps B ended right here with a truncated B position. And then this is only the first subwave of the very first subwave. So now we expand our count to see what it could be. And because that one could hit 161.8, this one could hit maybe 223, right? The 261.8. And then if that were the count, then all of this would actually be just the first subwave going up. And then we make a massive wave up and a rally. Oh, sorry, let me just draw that again. So there's many different ways to play it, and we have to look at it from the perspective of breakouts. So that's a very viable count as well, depending on how we actually see all of this going on, okay? So now, you know, this wave right here will retrace to a region around, say, 164, hopefully. Maybe not to the wave 1 territory. I'd say right around to the wave 1 territory at most, right? If this were to actually happen. And then we end up getting a break up. So these are some very viable paths as well for Litecoin. So if you guys, okay, I'm going to look at the 4-hour candle since someone brought that up there. Yeah, this is a beautiful 4-hour candle, but keep in mind that we are out of resistance, guys, right? So the ideal thing to do, once again, is I'm hoping for a correction, say above, I don't know, 163, 165, around those key regions, right? If we actually correct to around those regions, awesome. Then it's going to be well, I think I've gone over every single scenario already for you guys to take a look at. So I think I'm going to end it right here. You guys know exactly where my key supports and resistances are. So I really appreciate your guys' time. I'm a little bit tired today already. It's been going for about an hour. It's insane how long I can actually talk for. It surprises me sometimes. So I'm going to keep my my TA videos for you guys within about 1 hour. And I really appreciate all the love and the support. You guys are welcome to upvote the content on Steemit and, you know, contribute to my dog's alcoholic fund right there. I get like $3 a blog or something. If you guys want to donate cryptocurrency to buy me like a bank, or sorry, buy me a bank, buy me a lunch or a coffee or something, don't ever donate more than your means, you know? A coffee, a lunch is good enough, and I'm super happy and I feel great when people do that. But other than that, please don't ever go out of your way, guys. So I'm going to call it right around here, and I hope you guys have a great day. I hope I've added some insight to your trading, and just adopt my mentality, guys. Ignore the haters as best as you can. Don't ever add fuel to the fire. If you guys ever have someone ragging on you for an unknown reason when you don't even communicate with them, they're either one of two people, right? They're people who are just very insecure, super insecure with themselves, and they need to put other people down to feel good about themselves, or they're people who are just incredibly jealous of what you have going on. And in my opinion, all these big whales who have 100K followers, I can't help but think that I'm just doing something really good for the public and I'm taking income away from them, which I don't feel bad about. I think that information should be easily accessible and resource should always be free, especially in the cryptocurrency game. So other than that, guys, thank you very much for all of your time and your support. Love you guys all so much, baby whales, mini dolphins, and tiny little penguins. May you guys always march yourselves to safety and profit. Bye now. Take care.